There's something powerful you may not know, something that doesn't live in books or in long steps or in complicated plans. It's simple. It's always been with you. And yet many people live their whole lives without ever unlocking it. That key is your daily connection with your source, the higher power that gave you life and breath and purpose. The reason you haven't seen the miracles you've been hoping for may not be because you're doing something wrong. It might be because you're trying to live without calling on your source in the way you were always meant to. Many people wake up and rush into the day carrying worry, fear, or the feeling that they have to figure everything out on their own. But here's the truth. You were never meant to carry life alone. You were made to walk with something greater. The source of all life, wisdom, love, and strength is not distant. It's not waiting for you to earn anything. It's already here. But it only responds when you choose to connect, to speak, and to listen. You don't have to be perfect to access this power. You don't need a ritual or hours of prayer. You only need to pause, open your heart, and speak to your source like a child to a parent, like a friend to a friend. The key to transformation lies in this act of reaching inward and upward, where the real miracle begins. Most of us were never taught this. We were taught to fix things on our own, to struggle in silence, to prove our worth before receiving help. But the source doesn't work like that. The moment you begin to call upon it, even if your voice is trembling, even if you don't know what to say, something shifts. You may not see the change right away, but deep within, a light is turning on. This is not about religion. This is not about rules. This is about remembering who you really are. You are not alone, and you were never meant to live as if you are. When you speak to your source daily, even just for a moment, the weight begins to lift. Peace enters, direction appears, the chaos outside begins to quiet. The things you've been trying to force finally begin to move, not by your might, but by grace. You may feel like you've tried everything, but maybe what you needed was to try the simplest thing. Before you ask the world to change, before you chase another plan, ask yourself this: have I really spoken to my source today? Have I taken even one moment to sit in silence and say, I know you're with me. I trust you. Show me the way. This is where miracles begin, not in doing more, but in being connected. The people who live in peace, who walk in strength, who smile in storms, they are not always the ones with the easiest lives. They are often the ones who made one powerful choice to speak to their source every day, and that choice changed everything. Right now, you can make that same choice. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment. You don't need to clean yourself up first. Speak now. Repeat one small phrase every day. I am not alone. I am guided. I am loved. And say it like you mean it, even if your heart still holds doubt. Say it until you start to feel it. Say it until you believe it, because belief is the door and your voice is the key. Have you ever wondered why your life feels like it keeps repeating the same patterns? Why no matter how hard you try, things don't seem to move the way you want them to? It can feel frustrating. It can feel heavy. And worst of all, it can make you feel like maybe something is wrong with you. But let me tell you something that may free your heart today. The reason you feel stuck is not because you're broken. It's because you've been disconnected from your source. When you don't call upon your source, you're trying to run on empty. You're waking up each day and walking into the world without plugging into the very power that made the world. That's like trying to make a light bulb shine without electricity. No matter how much the bulb wants to shine, it needs to be connected. And here's where it gets even more important. When you stay disconnected for too long, you begin to believe that life is just hard. And that's how it is. You stop expecting miracles. You stop believing in change. You get tired. You lose hope. That is exactly what happens when a soul forgets its source. The light dims. the road feels dark, and you carry a burden that was never yours to carry alone. But when you start calling upon your source, daily, intentionally, lovingly, everything starts to shift. You begin to walk with guidance. You begin to feel peace even when things around you haven't changed yet. You get inner clarity that others don't understand. You start to attract better things, not because you've earned them, but because you finally opened the door that was always meant to stay open. Think about this. The tree doesn't struggle to grow. It doesn't force fruit to appear. It simply stays rooted in the soil and reaches for the sun. Your source is like the soil and the sunlight. If you stay connected, growth is natural. Fruit appears in its time. You don't have to stress and strive. You simply align. When we forget our source, we start chasing answers in places that will never satisfy us. We search the internet, we copy others, we run from thing to thing, hoping something will fix how we feel inside. But peace was never meant to come from outside. It always comes from within, and from the one who speaks to you in silence. If you don't make this connection your daily priority, the world will make you forget who you are. You'll start believing every voice, every fear, every worry. You'll get lost in the noise. That's why calling upon your source is not just helpful. It's necessary. Your peace, your strength, your vision, they come from that connection. Don't wait for things to get worse before you return to your source. Don't wait for a breakdown to begin building your spiritual life. Start now. One moment, one phrase, one breath of faith. Begin each day by saying, I am open, I am willing, I choose to walk with you today. And watch how different your day feels. Watch how things begin to make sense again. Being stuck doesn't mean you've failed. It just means you need to go back to the beginning, to the place where your power really comes from, to the source that never left you, but has been waiting for you to come back home. Look around your life right now. The people, the situations, the choices you face, these are not random. They are reflections. They are signs of your current connection to your source. When you feel far from your source, life feels heavier, more stressful, and full of confusion. But when you are deeply connected, even hard moments carry peace. Even storms seem to slow down. This is something many people don't realize. Life doesn't happen to you. It happens through you. Your beliefs, your feelings, your thoughts, all of these are like signals sent into the world, and your life mirrors them back to you. So, if inside you feel lost, unworthy, or forgotten, the world starts to show you more of that. But if inside you feel guided, safe, and supported, the world responds to that too. Your source doesn't ignore you. It responds to the you that shows up every day. If you wake up with fear and don't speak to your source, the day continues with that same energy. But when you pause, even for 1 minute, and say, guide me, I trust you, I am yours, you've shifted everything. You've sent out a new signal, and the mirror of life reflects it back. You may not see instant results. You may not get everything you ask for right away, but don't let that fool you. Life always mirrors what you carry within. The connection you have with your source is like a magnet. When you stay connected, you attract clarity. You attract people who see you. You attract answers where before there was only confusion. Many people try to change their life by changing everything around them. They move to new places. They quit jobs. They start over again and again. But if they don't change their inner connection, they carry the same pain into every new chapter. This is why change doesn't last unless it starts from the inside, unless it starts from your relationship with your source. So ask yourself today, what have I been reflecting lately? Have I been living as someone who feels seen and guided? Or have I been carrying doubt, fear, and confusion? You don't need to judge yourself. You don't need to feel bad. You just need to recognize what's been happening and shift it. That shift begins with simple words, not fancy ones, just real, honest, simple words from the heart. Say, I trust my source. I let go of fear. I believe in miracles, and mean it. Say it every day until your body feels it, until your mind starts to calm, until your life starts to reflect something new, because it will. It always does. When your inner world begins to rise in faith, your outer world follows. When your heart believes you are not alone, life starts showing up to prove it. When you see yourself as guided, you begin to be guided. The reflection never lies, but the beautiful truth is, you can always change the image, not by force, not by control, but by reconnecting and staying connected. That's when life begins to shine again. That's when the miracles come, not by luck, not by chance, but by calling upon your source, daily, lovingly, faithfully. There is something very special that happens when you speak to your source, not once, not when you're desperate, but every single day. This simple act creates something strong inside you. It builds a quiet, unshakable faith. That daily moment of connection becomes your spiritual anchor, and with each repetition, your spirit becomes stronger, more peaceful, and more aligned with the flow of miracles. Repetition is not about saying empty words. It's about shaping your inner world with truth until your heart believes it. Every time you repeat a phrase filled with trust and love, you're reminding yourself of who you really are. You're not a victim of the world. You're a part of something divine. You're supported, even when you can't see it yet. And when you make that reminder a habit, everything about your life starts to feel lighter. Think of it this way. Every day you repeat a phrase like, I am guided, I am loved, I am not alone. You're tuning your spirit like a beautiful instrument. You're adjusting the way you think, speak, and feel. It's like drinking water for your soul. Just as the body needs daily nourishment, your spirit does too. And words of truth are the food it needs most. This daily practice may seem small at first. You might not notice big changes overnight, but over time you'll begin to sense the shift. Your reactions will soften, your thoughts will grow calmer, your decisions will feel more guided, and those tiny changes are the beginning of miracles. Because when you are aligned with your source, you stop chasing things that don't matter. You stop fearing what's ahead. You start attracting the very blessings your heart has been waiting for. Spiritual alignment is not about being perfect. It's not about praying in a certain way or knowing all the answers. It's about showing up daily with honesty and willingness. It's about speaking truth to yourself and letting your heart be shaped by it. It's about keeping your soul open even when life feels uncertain. So don't underestimate the power of daily repetition. Speak your truth every morning. Whisper your faith every night. Repeat the words that feed your spirit. I am safe, I am chosen, I am connected to something greater. These words are not magic spells. They are gentle reminders that help you rise above doubt and see life from a higher place. Even if no one else sees the change in you right away, keep going. Because the first change always happens inside. And when your heart is steady, your life will begin to reflect that peace. The world may stay noisy, but you will become quiet and strong within it. That is the power of being spiritually aligned. That is the miracle that begins with one daily choice. Now pause for a moment and ask yourself this question. Who am I when I believe I am fully supported by my source? Not who are you in fear, not who are you in survival, but who are you when you truly believe that a higher power walks with you, speaks to you, and makes a way for you? This is a question that can open doors inside your soul, because the answer shows you the person you're meant to become. When you believe in divine support, you start to act differently. You stop rushing and you begin to trust. You stop doubting and you begin to listen. You stop shrinking and you begin to rise. Imagine the version of you who walks every day knowing that miracles are on their way. That version of you is calm, clear, and confident. Not because life is perfect, but because your foundation is unshakable. You speak gently, you move with peace, you feel a quiet joy even in the small things. That's the version of you that appears when you live with deep trust in your source. So now ask yourself, what traits does that version of you have? Are you more patient, more hopeful, more kind? Do you worry less and smile more? Picture that version of you as clearly as you can. Write it down if it helps. Speak it out loud. Say, I am peaceful. I am strong. I am held by something greater than me. This is not pretending. This is stepping into the truth that's already waiting for you. When you create this clear picture of your spiritual self, you begin to align your daily life with it. You begin to act like that version of you. And slowly your mind and heart begin to match your actions. You stop reacting from fear. You start responding with love. You become more focused on what truly matters. And that's how transformation begins. This is what your source wants for you, to live from this place of faith, not fear, to be rooted in who you are when you remember you are never alone. That's why daily spiritual connection is so important. It doesn't just give you comfort, it gives you clarity, and from that clarity, you can make choices that lead you to peace, joy, and purpose. So if you've been living as someone filled with fear, that's okay. You're human. But today, you get to choose again. You get to return to your source and ask, who am I when I believe? And then step into that answer one moment at a time. That version of you is already inside you, and your source is ready to walk with you every step of the way. There is a space between the moment you speak your faith and the moment you see the result. That space can feel long, it can feel empty, and in that space, many people give up. They say the words, but nothing changes. They wait a week, a month, maybe even a year, and then they stop. They stop believing, they stop hoping, and they turn back to fear. But what they don't realize is this: the space between your prayer and your miracle is not empty. It's working, it's moving, it's preparing. But it needs one thing from you: to hold on, to stay faithful even when you see nothing, because that is the space where your belief is being built. Your source has perfect timing, but our hearts want fast answers. We live in a world of instant things, instant messages, instant meals, instant rewards. But your soul doesn't grow through speed. It grows through patience, through waiting with peace, through trusting that just because you can't see the miracle doesn't mean it's not already on the way. Think of a seed planted deep in the soil. You water it, care for it, and still, for a long time, you see nothing. But beneath the surface, roots are forming. Life is moving. A miracle is waking up. And one day, a sprout breaks through. It looks sudden, but it wasn't. It was growing all along. Your faith works the same way. When you speak to your source daily, you're planting spiritual seeds. You're choosing trust over fear. You're making room for miracles. And those seeds need time. They need care. They need consistency. That's why you must hold on when nothing seems to be happening. This is where many people stumble. They speak affirmations for a while, then stop. They pray for a season, then forget. They begin strong, then fade away. But the ones who see real change, the ones who receive what they ask for, are the ones who stay. They stay faithful. They stay believing, even when the world gives them no proof. You don't have to force anything to happen. Your source doesn't need you to struggle or worry. All you need to do is stay in alignment. Keep speaking your truth. Keep calling on your source. Keep saying, even though I don't see it yet, I believe. Even though I don't feel it now, I trust. That kind of faith moves mountains. It opens doors. It calls miracles into being. Not because you're pushing harder, but because you're standing firm. So if you're in the waiting space right now, don't give up, don't turn away. Stay with your source, stay with your words. Let your daily connection be your anchor, because even when life looks quiet, heaven is moving. And if you hold on, the breakthrough will come. It always does, for those who believe and never stop calling upon their source. Whatever you give your attention to grows. This is one of the simplest truths in life, but also one of the most overlooked. Your thoughts, your words, your focus, they are like seeds. And every day you are planting something. If you constantly talk about what's wrong, what's missing, and what you don't like, you're feeding the very things you want to escape. But if you shift your focus to what's right, what's working, and what you want to welcome into your life, then something beautiful begins to grow. It may feel natural to complain. When life feels hard, the first instinct is often to speak about the problems. I'm tired. Nothing ever works out for me. I don't know what to do. These words may feel like truth in the moment, but they are actually shaping your future. The more you speak about the struggle, the more the struggle stays. Not because your life is cursed, but because your words are creating a path that keeps leading you back to the same place. But here's the good news. You can change your focus at any moment. Right now, you can decide to speak differently, to think differently. You can train your mind to look for the good, to see blessings in small things, to be grateful even when you don't feel like it. And as you do this, your energy shifts, your heart softens, your spirit lifts, and that shift begins to change your life from the inside out. This doesn't mean you ignore what's real. It means you choose what to feed. You don't water weeds and expect roses. So why keep feeding fear and expect peace? Why keep talking about lack and expect abundance? You have the power to choose. Every time you repeat a phrase of truth, you are choosing to grow the light instead of the dark. Try this simple change. Every time you feel like complaining, replace it with a statement of faith. Instead of "I'm stuck," say "I'm in the middle of growth." Instead of "I'm tired of waiting," say "I trust in divine timing." Instead of "I don't know what to do," say "I know I am being guided." These words are not just positive thinking, they are spiritual alignment. They are how you stay close to your source, even when life is unclear. The more you focus on peace, the more peace you'll feel. The more you speak about blessings, the more blessings you'll notice. It's not magic, it's focus. And what you focus on grows. Doubt has a sneaky way of creeping in. One moment, you're full of faith. The next, you're questioning everything. This is normal. Everyone goes through it. But if you don't recognize doubt and deal with it, it becomes a cycle, a loop that keeps you going in circles, always starting but never arriving. This cycle usually begins when something doesn't go the way you hoped. Maybe a prayer goes unanswered, a plan falls apart, a door closes, and you start to wonder, is this really working? Am I just fooling myself? That one question, if left unchecked, opens the door to more. Before long, your heart is full of fear, and fear, when it grows, begins to block the flow of miracles. But doubt is not your enemy. It's a signal. It's telling you that it's time to reconnect. It's a reminder that your soul is thirsty again, not for answers, not for solutions, but for connection to your source. Most people try to fix doubt by working harder. They chase new information. They try new methods. They look for quick results. But what they really need is to return to the place of stillness, to quiet their mind, to open their heart, and to speak again to their source, not with perfect words, but with honesty. Say, "I'm feeling lost, but I still choose to believe." Say, "I'm scared, but I know you are with me." These words bring you back to center. They don't erase the problem, but they break the power of the cycle, because now you're no longer being pulled by fear, you're being led by faith. The way to break the cycle of doubt is simple. Stop letting your current reality define your future. Stop watching for evidence and start walking in trust. The reality you see today is not your final story. It's just a reflection of what was. If you want to create something new, you have to believe something new, and that belief starts with your words. Don't wait for doubt to disappear on its own. Speak against it. Pray through it. Call on your source and say, I may not know the way, but I know who walks with me. That one sentence can stop the spiral. That one moment of faith can change the atmosphere of your entire life. You were never meant to live in circles. You were meant to rise, break the cycle by holding on to truth, even when everything in you wants to let go. That is the path to peace. That is the way to miracles. Sometimes we think miracles must be big and bold to be real. We expect lightning, voices, signs in the sky. But most of the time, your source speaks through the small things. A kind word, a gentle whisper in your heart, an unexpected moment of peace. These are the quiet miracles, the soft signs that let you know you are not forgotten. When you live with faith, you begin to notice them. You begin to see patterns. You feel guided. You experience what many call divine timing, when something happens at just the right moment. And if you're paying attention, those small signs will become your proof, not that life is perfect, but that your source is near. Too often people miss these signs. They dismiss the small good things because they're looking for something bigger. They say, that's just coincidence, or it's not enough. And in doing so, they close the door on gratitude. But when you learn to appreciate even the tiniest evidence of grace, you create space for more. You start to live in a constant conversation with your source. Every time something small works in your favor, stop and say, thank you. Every time you feel a little bit of peace, stop and say, I receive that. These little responses open your heart. They tune your spirit. They build your faith one moment at a time. The more you acknowledge the signs, the more you see them. Life becomes filled with spiritual reminders. You feel less alone. You feel more certain. And your journey no longer feels random. It feels designed, because it is. You're not here by accident, and neither are the good things that come your way, no matter how small. Let today be the day you start seeing differently. Look for the little signs. Expect small blessings. Notice every time something goes right and say, that was you. I know you're with me. This attitude of awareness builds trust, and trust makes room for miracles. Now is the time, not tomorrow, not someday. Now take a breath and open your heart. Speak from a place of trust, even if your voice is still unsure. You don't need to have everything figured out. You don't need to be strong. You only need to be willing to speak. Say something simple. Say it with honesty. Say it from the part of you that longs for peace. Try this. I am one with my source. I am guided. I am safe. I am seen. I am loved. Let these words rise up from your soul. Let them echo through your day. Repeat them as often as you need to. Every time you say this, you are creating space. Space for miracles, space for healing, space for wisdom to flow in. These words are your bridge. They carry you from fear to faith, from confusion to clarity, from loneliness to divine connection. You don't have to force the miracle. You only need to make room for it. And room is made when you speak, when you call on your source, not with demands, but with devotion, not with stress, but with surrender. This is where power is born. You may not feel the change instantly, but it is happening. Your words are like seeds planted in rich soil. Speak daily, water them with trust, shine light on them with gratitude, and soon you'll see growth. Not just outside, but deep within. Let this be your new beginning, a sacred rhythm. a daily habit of calling upon the one who already knows what you need. Let your life become a prayer. Let your words be your offering. Let your days be guided not by fear, but by the quiet strength of divine connection. And every morning before the world tries to speak to you, speak first to your source. Say, I am open. I am ready. I walk in faith today. And then walk forward, knowing you are never alone. You've just walked through the heart of a simple but life-changing truth. Calling upon your source is the beginning of miracles. It's not about long speeches or perfect prayers. It's about your heart, your willingness, and your daily return to the one who loves you most. The words you speak, the thoughts you choose, the focus you hold, they are shaping your world. You are not powerless. You are not forgotten. You are not too late. Every time you pause to reconnect, to realign, to repeat the truth, you shift your entire path. You invite peace. You welcome guidance. You allow transformation. And so, let this be your practice. Each day, speak to your source. Repeat your truth. Choose your focus. Trust in the small signs. Break the cycles that no longer serve you, and hold on, even when nothing seems to be changing yet, because the miracle is already on its way. You are walking with your source now, and that changes everything.